Hi, I'm Kevin Moore, host of The Moore Show, and it's my passion to help you live your best life now. You might be looking to find answers on love, connecting with your life's purpose, reuniting with a loved one on the other side, discovering your past lives, or just helping you make sense, finding your direction now. So The Moore Show has collaborated with the most gifted readers around the world to form The Moore Show Psychics. Now, my readers have a large range of skills to choose from to be of service to you, and all my psychics are interviewed to show transparency, with each interview available on the website. So call now, dialing the numbers on the screen to speak to my operators 24/7, or go to tmspsychics.com to choose a reader or book online. The Moore Show Psychics, helping you transform your present moment into the most loving and happiest it can be. Now, I also offer a full money back guarantee, so what have you got to lose? Empower your life now.
The comments and views expressed on The Moore Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The Moore Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching The Moore Show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. Now, for the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. Now, on today's show, I'm about to be joined by my guest, Jen Young. Now, Jen has been studying numerology for many years, along with angel cards and astrology. Now, she's been giving angel card readings for over 15 years. Now, she combines the power of numerology, angel cards, astrology, and theology to give a whole and complete reading. Now, she believes that we all have the power to live our best life. The key is in self-awareness, which leads to self-empowerment. Jen Young, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you.
It's great to have you on, Jen. I'm so pleased that we're doing this right now, because obviously we tried to record this a week ago and it just wasn't working out. And I think that's a symbolism sometimes, isn't it? When things aren't going your way, you've just got to release it, haven't you? And just say, there's something telling me that there's a reason for this not happening right now, in a sense.
Absolutely. And I know the first time we tried this, my dog had escaped and I had to go looking for her. And
Yes.
and actually, remember that?
I do.
And I was so disappointed. But in a way, my energy actually was very low at that point. And in a way, I was grateful. And then the next time we tried to do it, it didn't work out. And then with the Skype sound, and it was really actually quite great because you and I had a chance to connect. So I feel that all those mishaps were actually working in our favor.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that I'm so grateful of the reading that you gave us last time when we spoke, and I can validate that you the gift is there, most definitely, for the things that you were picking up on. And you how do you package the readings as well? Just explain that, just how you put the readings together as well, because you sent us a couple of PDFs as well regarding like a 12-month forecast.
Yep. So basically, numerology is a science, and it's like astrology or any other type of science or tool that we use for self-discovery. And that's what I love about it, because numerology, as opposed to astrology, it's simple. Astrology is awesome. I'm totally into it. I have my birth charts, and I recommend my clients get their birth chart because it does give you a snapshot of why you're here, your gifts, your challenges, etc. But numerology is a way to really access a lot of that information without all that's involved. So it was developed. It's a science that was developed by Pythagoras, but actually way before that, and other people have developed it. But I followed the how do you say it? Pythagoras' way of doing it. And basically, you use your birth date, and you also use the name you were given. the birthday is, of course, that's numbers. And then the name you were given, each letter in your name has a numeric value. So there's so much information with just that right there. And there's three ways that I use numerology. The first way is what we're going to talk about sort of more today, which is the forecasting. So using your birthday and your month, we add that to 2017. That's the year we're asking about. And with that information, you get the theme of your year or the energy of your year for this year. And then also next year, the following years. And you can even do it for the past and look in the past and say, wow. So what it does is it gives you a number, personal year number. And that's going to give you information on where the energy is. And then it's up to you to use that energy, So that's what I think is so fascinating about it, because it's not a prediction. I'm not into predictions because there's a gazillion, bazillion predictions. When you get a reading with me, it's assessing your energy as it is now. It's assessing how much momentum you have going in what direction. Is it a direction you like or a direction you don't like? And that's the beauty of it. If you don't like it, you can do something about it. And if you're unaware of it, then you can't do something about it. So that's what I specialize in, is where are you now? Where do you want to go? And so with the forecasting, with the numerology, that gives us information. I'll explain a little bit more about that exactly in a minute. The other way to use numerology is your personality profile, and that's using your birthday and your name. Fascinating. It gives you information on your career. It gives you information on your soul's urge, like what you really want to accomplish in this lifetime that might be hidden, et cetera, et cetera. And one of my favorite ways of the three ways, well, they're all my favorite, but this one is so awesome. When you see numbers, you're receiving messages. Now, everybody is receiving messages with numbers, but most people are not aware. So I want everyone who's listening to start paying attention to license plate numbers. And in the UK, they're great because they've got really long ones. Here in the States, they're kind of short. But anyway, so when you see license plate numbers as you're driving anywhere, if you see any repeated numbers, that's a real treat. That's a message. And you start to pay attention, write it down, and anyone could email me or look it up or Google it, that what do these numbers mean? So now I'm so in tune with it. As I'm driving down the road, I will get a whole beautiful message, a story. And half the time they're so funny, they make me laugh. You know what I mean? So I love the sense of humor that I get from my guides and my higher self as I'm, deciphering these numbers. So those are the three ways I use numerology in a reading. And then I couple it with cards. So I've got, I use a lot of Doreen Virtue's angel cards. And I'm creating my own at the moment with my friend Fiona Lewis, who actually lives outside of London, and she's doing the artwork, and I've come up with all the categories. And after 20 years of doing this, I really wanted a deck that had all of the words that I want in there to give the story that I feel like my clients want to hear, So right now I have like 1,000 decks, and I use one for career, one for health. So this one I've collaborated into one whole, and it's called Be Intuitive, Answers from Within. So anyway, that's how I give a reading using both numerology and the cards, and we go forward from there.
Okay, and at the end of every reading as well, then you provide a kind of PDF breakdown of what was said in the reading, in a sense, and that's all available.
And I've got I email everyone like a sheet of paper that gives them their year for 2017 and each month breakdown of what the energy is. So it's great. So say you're planning a business move, or say, and say for you, August is a number 8 month, or July is a number 8 month. Well, 8 is all about business, and it's about expanding your business. It's about maybe changing things up. So that would be a good indication of when you might want to do these changes, because the energy is supporting that. Or in retrospect, you can look back and say, wow, that was a 1 month, and I started something new. Look how that worked out for me. So with this information, you just have that little bit of awareness, and actually I call it confirmation that you're on the right path.
Yeah, definitely. And just going back here, because they've got so much to talk about, and it's so fascinating the work that you do. What got you involved in numerology, and was there any sort of anything else that you were doing prior to that, before you got involved in numerology?
Yes. When people like us are really in tune. And so when I was young, I was really into astrology. And from a young girl, I I've been exploring that and studying that. And by no means, I'm not an expert, but I'm quite aware. So when I hear somebody talk, like I listen to different forecasts and I can understand what the energy is when they're talking. So that fascinated me. But then, and then I started doing the cards about 20 years ago. I lived in Bermuda for about 10 years, and there's a really great spiritual community there. And my friend Andre, who actually lives in London now, he's a poet, and he said, and he's a psychic too, and he said to me, and I'm not like, woo, you know what I mean? I'm just sort of more of a grounded person, practical. My energy for my life path number as far as numerology goes is a number 4. But then I've got a lot of Scorpio in me, and that's, a psychic sign. So practicality and spirituality mixed together is my thing. And so Andre said, Jen, you really need to do the cards. I started to do the cards, and ever since then, I just love it, and I've just grown and more aware of what the messages are. So I feel like I give very accurate readings now compared to when I was younger. And then about 8 years ago, numerology came into my life, and you know how it goes, Kev. When you latch onto something or find out about something that turns you on, it's a no-brainer. It's easy peasy. Right. So I started studying it, and and I've just been in love with it, and so it's brought a lot of clarity to my life. And then so it's a tool that I've been using to help people and myself, understand the energy and use it.
Is it always a shock how accurate the numbers are?
Yeah, it really is awesome, and I love getting emails from my clients saying, "Hey, Jen, this worked out, that worked out, or I did this, at a certain, like if you have a 6 month, that's all about health and wellness. And it's like, you better, get your ass to the gym. You better, start eating well." And so those kinds of things where you really see, physical evidence, of what you've done, because you knew that at that time, that energy was there for you and you used it. You took advantage of it.
That's right. Now, I don't see I've not come across many people that do the numerology readings that mix the cards in there as well. That's very different. That's, there's many things that set you apart from others, but that is pretty cool.
It is. And what I do sometimes, Kev, if you have a year reading with me, sometimes what we'll do is we go through each month of the year, and each month we pull a couple of cards. So that's a little added layer of information, personalized just for you, So yeah, it is a bit different, and it just evolved that way. And now it's my sort of, it's my thing.
That's right. And so just remind us again, how many years have you been doing this for?
For the cards for about 20 years, and numerology for about 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you've been So, and you've given readings to many people, and helped people just move past some of their blockages as well.
Exactly, and just help them realize what it is that they need to do to get where they want to be. And we did the one for you. Exercise kept coming up, and
yes.
You're not in a 6 year, which would be exercise and healthy year. But still, for you, exercise is really important to help you get to the next level. I mean, of course, it's good for everyone, but for you, it's key right now.
Oh, it is. I mean, I was saying just off air, I've stopped all smoking. I've stopped, smoking anything, right? And that was my choice, but I had to, because I thought, well, I don't want to go to the US and, have all these addictions with me and stuff. I mean, I could have gone anywhere, but I just want to stop it now. And it's over. It's finished.
It's over, and it's awesome because you just get so clear. And almost all of my readings, unless people are really like, on the top of their game, they always include, giving up addictions. It really does block you. It just keeps you where you are. And some people are okay with that, and they don't really want to go further, and that's fine too, But most of my clients, I really like this phrase, and actually my friend has a business in Bermuda. She's a psychotherapist, and it's called Beyond Better. And actually she's quite good if anybody's in Bermuda and is listening to this. But anyway, so she actually was the one who introduced me to Doreen Virtue and using the angel cards. And so I love that saying, Beyond Better. So, a lot of people that I deal with, most people are not way down low. They're here, you know what I mean? They're up pretty high, and it's just about going beyond better and enhancing their lives and really achieving their goals. And I know that's what you want to do, and I know that's what I want to do, So
Definitely.
that's what I love about getting a reading from me is not taking you from 0 to 5. It's taking you from 5 to 10.
For sure, and I can say that as well. That reading that you gave us helped a lot. I mean, I know I did say to people in some of my vlogs, no more readings. I mean, I'm channeling now. I can get my own answers. But I
Right,
think,
right.
you just have to say when they come to you for a reason, then you've just got to be prepared to listen. Sometimes it's validation what you already know. That's great.
Well,
Or
actually,
sometimes,
that's most of the time. But go ahead.
no, go
Yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. Sure.
Yeah, that you are absolutely bang on that because it is mostly validation of what you already know. It's rare that I say something or the numbers show something or the cards put out something that my client doesn't already really know deep inside.
That's so
So,
true. Now,
yes.
with the Doreen Virtue, you've done a course there, haven't you? There's some sort of course that took place.
Yes, I don't know if she provides it anymore, but I think she might, sort of online. But I did see her quite a couple of times, and I have taken this course. So it really gives you, um, it just gives you an overall sort of guidelines of how to give a reading. But of course, I put my own spin on it, my own bent on it. And what I like is that she does put me on her network. So if anybody is looking for someone who has been trained by her, I'm on there, and I do still get quite a few clients who do check her website. I really do like her approach in many different ways. Her business approach, she's a smart cookie. She is psychic beyond belief. And I just know that in her heart, she really wants to help people,
Mm,
and she's doing it. So
that's true.
she's sort of like a mentor to me.
Yeah. Well, we
And
all
I
need.
did
Yeah.
actually give her a hug one time, and I did meet her. So,
That's
but go
beautiful.
ahead.
No, just going to
Yeah,
say, yeah, no, we all need a mentor sometimes, most
yeah,
definitely. And I think
yeah,
that's, especially in this field as well. But, I've come to realize that the reason why I do what I do, it's all about awakening people's awareness up. That's I realized that this week, actually. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah, it's not always easy, and but we can have the life that we want. And I think by getting a reading with yourself, or in numerology in general, will help you to sort of tune into that as well. It's one way of tuning in, but you have to go with what resonates with you, most definitely.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, you did mention this as well, that at the beginning, that and I've had other numerologists on as well, where they say that it is a science. It is really. Because
Yes,
it's repeatable. The results are always repeatable.
yes. And I like it because it makes sense, like anything to do with math. It makes sense. It's concrete. And when you look at, you look at geometry, or you look at any of how, a flower unfolds, everything in nature sort of stems from that. It's all mathematical. So it's quite interesting. And for me, and I know you do too, everything is energy. I mean, and really all our eyes are a mechanism that perceives energy. And so that's why some people, I believe, can, like, are psychically in tune. And it's not that they're any different than any of us. That it's just that the tool that they use to receive information is more fine tuned and can see more. So I love the different variations of being sensitive, or intuitive. And it's clairvoyance is seeing, clairaudience is when you hear. And for me, I'm definitely clairaudient. And all of us are all of these, but some have different. Some are stronger than others. And for me, like, I'll hear something, words pop in my head, ideas pop in my head. It sounds like my own voice, but I know it's not from me. And so I pay attention to that in a reading. So my one girlfriend, Joy, she just recently got married, and before she even met this gentleman again, he came back into her life. She knew him in high school. I said his name, and it turned out to be his middle name. And then I said his birthday is important, and he's born a day before she was born. So, like, their birthdays were a day apart. So it was kind of fun and interesting. So you hear these things, and that comes into play. And that's something Doreen Virtue had taught in her class, is that you've got to just really trust what comes in. And even if it makes no sense at all, say it, because it might make sense to your client. So I definitely am working on that, because that's something where you have to complete trust. And that's definitely something I think we all work on. So, and then there's the clairsentience, which is, your emotional state, what you feel.
Yeah.
And the claircognizance, no, claircognizance is what you know. You know how like you have a knowing about certain things that we talked about off air. And that knowing won't go away. It's there. And, your job is just to figure out how to raise your vibration so you can live in that probable reality where that is a concrete thing. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely does make sense. It absolutely does. And when we're in tune and we do listen to what comes through, sometimes it's that voice within, that gut feeling, that higher part of us. It always wants the best for us, doesn't it? It always does want the best.
And I did hear someone say that it whispers. It's not like banging on. I mean, it whispers. And the way it bangs on the door is it's repetitive. So it's these thoughts or feelings that are little whispers that don't go away. And of course, they're always with integrity, right? So that's something. And then that's something like when I talk about being in a 3-year is all about your creativity and your exploring. Now, you're in a 3-year, aren't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. So this 3-year is all about you just exploring and being really open to new possibilities. And in the 3-year, it's all about following your urges. But of course, I urge that you follow the urges with integrity. And I stress that if you wake up in the morning and want to start to drink some Budweisers at 9 a.m. on a Monday, that urge, you might not want to do that, so that's the voice you're not going to listen to, right?
Yeah.
So that's the interesting thing about it being in a 3-year is that, you're going to want to follow your urges. If you want to go to the health food store down the street, or say you want to go to a health food store that's kind of far away, and then there's also one down the street, but your urge says, no, but I want to go to the one that's far away, and it's not very practical. If you're in a 3-year or a 3-month, I suggest to you to follow that urge, because you don't know who's there, who you might meet, what product is there for you. Maybe it's the right product, or perhaps there's going to be an accident on the way to the closer one and you'll be safe for going to it. Does that make sense?
That makes so much sense, because I can relate to that with, me now going to the US at some time this year and doing it with integrity as well, which I've had to be very deep to go, to make sure it all is. And, and then when it is, it's just like, oh, well, I'll work with the universe then to get there. And it will all work out just the way it's going to work out, and it's going to be so much fun. And with imagination there and everything else, you can law of attraction, you can bring it to you as well. You really can when you really have that heartfelt space that you want. This is what's best for you.
Absolutely. And that mixed with, because you're in a 3-year, the 3-year says don't make any hard decisions or concrete decisions, because it's not the time. The time for that will be next year in your 4-year. This is your time of trying things out, exploring without an attachment to the outcome. And I know, that kind of sort of pertains to almost everything we do, but especially in a 3-year, that's your focus. And that's what you're doing. And that's a beautiful thing. And it's like, let's let all the heavy stuff where you've got to make some decisions. Am I going to permanently move there? Am I going to set up my network there? Whatever you're going to do, that will be for next year. And just knowing that, I think, gives you or any of my clients that kind of relaxed feeling that it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. It feels right. It's what I feel and think. So yes, it is so. And then it takes the burden off of you making any heavy decisions. And that just makes everything more enjoyable, and then next year, when you are in that heavy decision year, a 2 years a heavy decision year, a 4 years a heavy decision year. But when you're there, you're ready to make that because of the work that you did previous. And that's the beauty of numerology, is when you can have that timeline to give you just that feeling of confirmation and that feeling of ease. That's what I love about it.
That's so true. Yeah. And I'm in. I always say this. I'm in such a lucky space to have this time with people like yourselves, and because I know people watching this, it's not always in their life, is it? I mean, the interviews are, but I mean, I'm actually in your presence now and doing this, so I am very grateful for that. That's part of this job as well.
Yes.
I just think, but when you're in alignment with your purpose, everything becomes so clear, doesn't it? In one sense.
Exactly. And that's that claircognizance, when you just know something. And another thing I've learned with just doing all this and meeting a lot of people and studying this is that you don't have to always know how you're going to do something. As long as you have the sort of idea, the urge, and the enthusiasm, the how comes when the how's supposed to come. Right. And a lot of people, sort of block themselves or stymie themselves when they have a fabulous idea, and then they think, oh, well, I could never do that, or how am I going to do that? Well, you know what I mean? That's not really your business at the moment, So that's the great thing about when you can just be in that state of knowing it's going to happen, but letting go of the how. And that's huge for us humans, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's so difficult. It's not easy at all, is it, to be in that space? Because I'm experiencing it now. Don't get me wrong. I really am, and I've just had to trust. I've just had to go with it and just trust and just not just that. I mean, obviously, it wants you to take action. You can't just sit back and expect it all to come to you. You've got to take the action. But that's a big part of it as well. Taking the action is a big part of making it happen. Yep. And you can't get too lost in ideas of where the grandeur and all that kind of stuff. But if you keep going forward, that something will break. It will. Something will happen, and it'll be, maybe it could be better than you thought. Do you know what I mean? It could be.
It could be, or it could be in a completely different direction
Right.
than you had anticipated. And so that's where I guess I feel like for me, I'm a half a century now, so I have matured a bit, and now I'm able to more easily be in that space where I'm okay with it. I'm going to do my best. I am going to take action. But I used to kind of be in a state of sort of perpetually pissed off that things didn't go the way I want them to go, like now, you know what I mean? And I'm doing the cards, and I'm like, oh, I don't want that one. It's like, that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? That's just ridiculous. So I had to grow a lot and realize that it is part of my destiny is due to me taking action, but also it's due to me letting go, and like you say, like, what were you saying? Like, let go. Well, people say let go and let God. I mean, I don't belong to any religious club or anything, but let go and let the higher power, because obviously there is a higher power, and there is knowledge that we are not able to know or see now. And I do think that's why we are on planet Earth. It's fun in a way because we're constantly living in uncertainty. It's like we're drinking that cup of uncertainty all the time. We have no idea how things are going to happen, when they're going to happen. And I do believe we came here because it's such a challenge, and so instead of, for me, I used to curse the mystery. I'd be like so upset that I don't know what's going to happen. And now, and I think that's what kind of got me into this a little bit. But now I realize, embrace the mystery. It's flipping fun. In most cases, or you can make it fun.
You can make it fun, can't you? Imagination's a great thing in it as well.
Yes. And everything stems from your imagination. So I don't know if you know a few of these speakers I listen to. They channel. One of them is Abraham from Esther. Okay, so Abraham has taught me a lot. And have you ever heard of Bashar?
Yes, he's coming on the documentary that we're doing. Yep.
He is?
Yes.
Wow, because he's really, and I like Daryl Anka, his channel. I think he's such a great guy.
I've interviewed him. He's a nice guy. Yep.
Yes, he's a nice guy. And just, and it doesn't even matter the messenger. It matters the information. And the information, if it resonates with you, it's just, it's awesome. So I've learned a lot from that information that's come through. And it's great because you could go on YouTube and just type in Abraham, just type in Bashar, and start to really listen. And actually, for me, the one of the fundamentals of my spiritual life are the Seth books. Have you heard of the Seth books?
No.
Seth
Seth. Sorry, yes. I've had Seth people on. That's right. Yes, I've had people from Seth on.
So Jane Roberts and her husband Robert, they channeled the information from Seth, and that was back in the mid '60s. And I read their books about 25 years ago, and changed my life. Well, so
one of the most important things with Seth, which was in the Jane Roberts house, was the quote, "You create your reality." So
absolutely.
that's what that's the hardest lesson I've had on this journey so far. That right now, I there is no money. I am almost broke, right?
Right.
At a point where I'm just about to launch my psychic services, so I'm okay with that. But I've created that reality. I've created that with my negative thoughts, with my tapes playing in the background, that I'm not worthy of success. I'm not worthy of, poverty is all, is all I'm worthy of. And that's just so much BS.
Yes.
Whether it comes from past lives or whatever, it must do. There's something else that's there. And I'm healing that, or showing people that can be healed instantaneously. It doesn't take years. It can happen now. What I'm doing right now, I spoke to you off air about this. I'm kind of channeling or speaking to my lower part of myself, this lower part of the soul. That's I kind of discovered this. Maybe your subconscious. Maybe that's what it is that holds all these negative beliefs.
We all have that, and you're really diving in there and saying, throw this out. Don't need this. Yeah. Oh, I understand why now. Okay. Get it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're resetting yourself. You're totally giving yourself a reboot.
I hope so, because I want to show people that this can be done, that we don't have to live like this, that none of us had to. Just because there's a lot of people in the spiritual community that are on the borderline sometimes. It's all about give, be of service. It's like, hang on a minute, what about us? Why can't we have that abundance and everything else, right? Well, you can. You just got to tap into it. And I'm giving a lecture talk, a channel talk about the law of attraction in Manchester in March, and I'm like, what is this story going to say? Because I'm on my ass right now. What am I going to talk about the law of attraction? But maybe what I have attracted is I have attracted people into my life recently, hence why I'm going to the US. So I have not in a monetary sense, and I'm kind of turning this around on its head and saying, right, okay, so you've experienced that you've that there's what about turning it around for money? How do you turn it around for abundance? Abundance. That's the thing as well. You've got to embrace that you have abundance as well. That's part of it.
Absolutely. And with the whole creating your own reality, I mean, I do believe, like you say, we've had many, many existences here on Earth and perhaps other places. I really don't know. I can't tell you.
Oh, it's happening now. Sure.
Yes, exactly. It's happening now. So we really do heal our past when we heal our now. And we heal not just our future, we heal our past. And I do feel that we come in with challenges. And with when you read your astrology chart or you do your numerology, you can see sort of more in a linear way the challenges that you came in with. And really, you probably did it on purpose. You sat up there, before you came down here in a body, and you're like, you say to one of your best friends in the astral plane, to be like, yo, all right, so you're going to be my dad, and you're going to be a real asshole. You know what I mean? Excuse my French. And, and I'm going to be your daughter, and you're going to challenge me to either stand up for myself or push against your negative, or, don't absorb your negativity and blossom into my own person.
Right.
And stuff like that. So, your arch enemy could be your biggest teacher, could be the most enlightening person that you can meet in this lifetime. And we have to, well, now that I look at it that way, I've changed a lot of the negativity in my life.
Good.
And looking at it with a different perspective that I have has just made me so much happier, because I realize now, wow, these challenges, like I created my own reality. Okay, so I perhaps set this up for myself, and this is what I'm doing. And even people who you feel like, oh, so you're a drug addict, you're addicted to drugs, or a terrible alcoholic. You really don't know if that was maybe the role you were supposed to be playing. I can't say, but I can say that I feel there's no accidents. There's a reason for everything. And even though we don't know the reason, if we embrace it and just do our best, that's all we can do.
That's all we can do in it. That's all we can do. Yeah. Well, I do think we can dig ourselves out of any situation, and I suppose Absolutely. I'm going to be proof that to myself. But I've just said to myself, no more of this experience. I don't want any more. No more.
That's right. You're really ready to move on, and you're letting the universe know that you're, no matter where you are right now, you're not going. See, when they say you create your own reality, I love David Icke. I love it when he talks about the Matrix and how we are responsible for our lives. Okay. Yes. So he says, if you're creating your own reality and all you do is look at your current reality, which is a manifestation of your past, you're going to keep recreating your past over and over. So many people live their future lives from the basis of their past and keep recreating that. And it's like, so if you get what you think about, or you know, what you get, what you focus on, if you're focused on never having any money, being unhealthy, you're focused on this cold that you're getting, you keep talking about it, you keep thinking about it, you're pissed off about it, it's probably going to stick around for a lot longer than you think. And that's why they, in my belief, this is what I believe, if you focus on what's going wrong in such a way that you're just remunerating over your problems, you will keep them in your energy field. And we really just have to acknowledge it, take 5 minutes or 5 days, whatever, and then we have to be solution orientated. And I do feel like a lot of people are not solution orientated.
But isn't the power isn't your point of power in the present moment now? That's, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to, I don't want to say ignore your reality, but if your reality isn't ideal, this is the hard part, I think. If your reality is idea, that's it. It's the paradox. It's the paradox. And Abraham talks about this a lot. You can't create a new future if you are constantly looking at your past. Or say you get on a new health regime, right? Say you're really moving up, or say you've got these ideas, you know they're going to happen, you just don't know how, but you keep peeking at your reality and saying, oh, that didn't happen yet. I didn't get what I want yet. You know what I mean? Like a little kid saying, it's not here yet. You know, I'm doing all this work and it hasn't appeared. Well, that's just you being like an insolent child who didn't get what they want like right away. The paradox is you just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And with a positive mindset, you know. And I mean, I'm not into the woo-woo stuff where you just think positive all the time, because that's BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're ignoring any of the messages that are coming to you that may be trying to tell you something right now.
Yes, exactly. And there are things that are really negative in a lot of people's lives that are just horrible. And I don't really have all the answers. All I know is that if we remunerate over what we don't want, we will create more of what we don't want. And if we're not healthy and working on our physical health and our mental health and our emotional health, then, you know, where are you? That's kind of the basis.
Yes. Yeah. I've come to realize that so much this year. Oh my God, this year just started out like that. You know, I kept saying to people before, you know, 2017 is going to be a massive year for you, big changes. I should have been looking at the mirror when I said that, right?
And so it's totally reflecting for you. And the great thing about it is if you do look at it on a numerology level, 2017, 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 7 equals 10. And in numerology, we're always adding multiple digits to get that one digit. So if we end up with 10, what is that? That's a 1 and a 0. Add those two together, we get a 1. 2017 collectively for the whole world and all of humanity is in a 1 year. A 1 year is the beginning of a brand new cycle. So we are all collectively in new beginnings, and it's up to us to use the energy. And the energy is break away from the old. The energy is do what you really want to do, not listening to other people's input and what they want, and having people pull you in different directions. It's about stopping all that and being solely focused on what you want. It's about being independent. It's not about depending on others or hiding behind somebody else, or say, you know, Kevin wants to break out into a new direction. It's not about staying comfortable with just the Moore Show. It's about maybe branching out, doing something different, and adding to it. So It's a great year for business. It's a great year for personal growth. It's a great year for it's like a resolution for the next 9 years. And I didn't touch on this before, but in numerology, when we're doing the forecast,
resolution for the next 9 years. Wow.
Yeah, because in numerology, we are all in 9-year cycles.
Of course.
1 to 9, 1
yes.
to 9.
Yes.
So you're in a 2-year. I'm in a 1 year. You know, somebody could be in a 6-year or 5-year, but when we get to our 9-year, which I was in last year. So you say, oh, well, Jen, you were in a 9-year last year. Wouldn't 2017 be a 10-year for you? And I would say, well, yes, but if I add those double digits together, where am I now? I'm back to 1.
Right.
You know, and if somebody would say to me, oh, 2018 is an 11-year for you, Jen, I would say, well, technically, yeah, you can say that, but when you add 1 and 1, what do you get?
Yeah.
2. So we're all in these cycles from 1 to 9, 1 to 9, 1 to 9 throughout our whole lives. And it gives us the advantage, if you're in a 1 year, to start fresh, to start new. And that's where I am right now. You're at 2-year is more about relationships, and it's about partnerships. So if you want to look at it as a business standpoint, it's about collaborating with new partners last year, or it could be about breaking away from old partners. So, and it's also, so anyway, we've got that. And then the 3 year is all about your creativity, exploring your options, not making any heavy decisions. It's about taking short trips here and there. It's about self-discovery of what really turns you on, because then in a 4 year, which is you next year, the 4 year is all about building new foundations. It's about really, really building a new foundation. It's about taking away anything that hasn't been working and replacing it with something solid and new, whether it's in health, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationship. It's all about that. And it's about hard work. It's about studying and learning. It's just about nose to the grindstone. And it's a behind the scenes kind of year where you might not see the results of all your hard work, but you are building the foundation. And then so for you, then the following year is a 5 year. So that'd be 2019 for you, I believe.
God.
That would be the year. The 5 year is all about change, and the 5 years is all about opportunity, and the 5 years is about putting yourself out there. That's when you start to see the results of your labor. So that's kind of the flow of that. And then we get into the 6 year. The 6 year is about perhaps moving permanently somewhere. It's also about health and responsibilities. And then the 7 year we get into, that's a spirituality year, all about the inward journey. And the 8 year is all about business. So if you're self-employed especially, that's when business really takes off, and you might start to see the results of your labor. And or it's all about self-confidence and how you see yourself in the world and how the world perceives you. In an 8 year, it's like stand up, strong, confident, and you are noticed. But of course, that's if you're working on good stuff. Because if you're working on a load of shite, well, then you're going to see a whole lot of that in an 8 year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's so. That's so true. And there was a year 9 as well, is there? Of course.
The 9 year is the end of a 9 year cycle. That was me last year. That's where you wrap things up. It's like, okay, you assess the past 8 years and you say, hey, what do I want to leave behind and what do I want to bring with me? You're creating space. It's almost like and it's physically cleaning out your closets, cleaning out your house, cleaning out your context in your email, what have you, whatever. It's about clearing out the old, making way for the new. And you really don't want to start brand new things in a 9 year. It's more about clearing out and making room for the new that comes in your 1 year. So that's and I didn't say that in the beginning of the of the interview, but that's the gist of knowing what your personal year is. Where are you in that cycle, and how can you use that energy?
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. That makes a lot of sense, and I can resonate with that as well, because I feel that this year it's kind of like almost like making contacts in one sense, setting things up. Don't get me wrong, but making contact with the right people for next year. That it's almost like I can't explain it. I just know that is, and I for my own journey, I might not get to the US until June, July, August, do you know what I mean? And that will be then, more making contacts when I do come over to the States, but then those contacts will flourish into next year when things are permanently set up. So that makes a lot of sense. I've just got to say that. That makes a lot of
awesome.
I mean, I wish I could rush it, but I just can't. I've got to take this path.
You're just excited. You're excited. You know what I mean? And you have a lot of enthusiasm, but at the same time, we have to be discerning. And this is your discerning year, Kev. So if you're going to be choosing people, choosing places, this is your year to be like, maybe let's do some research. No. So this is your year of discernment, and you want to keep that as a top priority, because if you jump on the first thing,
that's right.
It might not be good enough, or it could be so much better, and you are,
Absolutely. But it's lovely when you meet the right people to work with. That is a beautiful thing. That really is.
It really is. So that's going to be your flow for this year, and that's really exciting. And it seems like you are totally, numerology-wise, your trajectory, is working out beautifully.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And just to put this out there as well, you're just the messenger, aren't you, for this? It's your, this is other people's stories, not yours. This is their movie. This is not your movie. You're not, you are remotely detached enough from that, aren't you, when you give these answers to people?
Yeah, it is really great when I actually do readings for people that I don't know, because there's no bias. bias. I am totally objective. And that's very important because I don't put my own flavor onto it. I don't put my own perspective onto it. And that's another thing about when you choose someone to give you a reading, or anyone who is a psychic or an intuitive, and you choose them to give you information about you. It's like you've got to choose someone who has certain qualities. First of all, someone who is healthy, somebody whose vehicle, this is my vehicle, my vehicle's not clogged with alcohol, drugs, bad food, negative thoughts, or horrible situation. Where I live in a supportive family. I mean, it's not always easy, believe me. Being married, let's not talk about that. So anyway, but that's not always easy. And and I eat junk too sometimes, but it's like I am consciously aware that my vehicle has to be clean, because that clouds my perception. And if it is not clean, and if it is clean, my perception is clear. If my perception is clear, I can translate the information I'm getting through numerology, through the cards, through my own intuition, into a more clear message. And so to me, that's vital. So if you do go to a medium and she's there smoking cigarette, not that, I'm naughty too, believe me, a lot more than I'm even going to say on here.
Same
But
here.
yeah. But for the most part, you've got to trust who you are letting interpret the messages, so, and that's why, with someone like you with a high integrity, then, that tells me everything. And someone like Doreen Virtue, high integrity, that tells me that I can trust her. And so if anyone does go to a website where they do have psychics, where they do have mediums, they really do want to trust the person in charge. And the person who is choosing that. And that's what you're doing this year, Kev. You are choosing the right people.
I feel that. Do you know that? I feel that. Yeah, it's funny you say that. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, that's very true. Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome. So that's why I place such a doing this work. I have a responsibility to my clients. Yeah, and it's a pretty big responsibility. And so that's why I have to keep myself in top-notch condition.
Of course, and no one is perfect. We're not saints, the thing is, right, I've got a past and I've never really talked about it much. Will I one day? I don't know, maybe, right? I just know that I've had to realize, and I've said this in this interview already, my point of power is now. This is who I am now, not who I was before. Now, this is me now. And once you get to a level, you never really go down below it, really. You can only go up.
Yeah, and the thing is, once you know, you can't unknow.
Yeah.
You can't not know it anymore. So if you know what's right for you, or if you know, like that's what I love about just life in general. Once you know, you can't go back. And that's why a lot of people don't want to know. They're like, no, don't tell me. Because you know what the cards are going to say? You know what it's going to say in numerology? It's going to say, stop eating processed food. It's going to say, give up this, or it's going to say, change your lifestyle, or give up that relationship. And people, that's hard, that's hard. So I'm really fortunate. I have to say, every single client I have ever had, beside for maybe only two that I can think of right now, are people who are really have so much integrity and are really wanting to go forward in their lives, and are not, remunerating about the past and not complaining. Oh, and there's this other thing, this other phrase I live by, and I don't actually really enjoy this, but I try to live by it. It says, if you're complaining or blaming or being a victim, that's a clear indication that you're on the wrong path. So every time you start going down that road, not that you can't rile against something that makes you angry, like have 10 minutes in your car screaming your lungs out, being pissed off, saying every bad word you can think of, like just, and that's what I do, those lovely words I love to use, and I'm being very well behaved on this interview, I must say. Because
you are. But that's okay. So, hey, at least you're transparent. At least you're honest. That's the most important part as well. That helps other people. It really does.
Absolutely. Because, I am so, faulty. And even my kids will tell me, Mom, you preach all this stuff and you're acting like a maniac. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, or I just want to go to McDonald's and get something, which I never do. But Wendy's. Okay, Wendy's here.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like, just Wendy's for dinner. Like, no. I'm like, oh gosh, I've taught them too well, Kevin, and now it's coming back to slap me in the face. So
that's
anyway,
good.
but yeah, it is good. It is good. But I'm so not perfect. But I do love it whenever I feel like I'm blaming, complaining, or being a victim. I gotta stop myself dead in my tracks and get my act together, because that's just going to take me down the wrong path. And I've been there too many times. I know that path is so well worn. You know what I mean? And I'm so good at it.
Yeah,
So
that's right. It's so addictive, isn't it? I know. Well, talking about paths and everything else, as we're talking, does karma play into numerology as well, do you think?
Well, you know about this because Edgar Casey, I know the people from his institute have been a big part of your show. So there's this book I absolutely love. This gentleman named Kevin Todeschi. I don't know if you know about him.
I know Kevin. Yeah.
Okay, so he writes a book called Family Karma, and it's just on my Facebook page. I just put it up because every now and again I put books up that inspire me. So Family Karma is what I was talking about earlier when I say, okay, before we come into our earthly body, we're up in the, with the big wigs, and we're like, all right, well, you're going to be my mom, and you're going to be a narcissist and an alcoholic, and you're going to be my dad, and you're going to be, this, and you're going to be my sister, and you're going to just bother the out of me, and you're, what I mean, or whatever. You're going to have all these. So you kind of set up these different dynamics, and you come down, and your job is to work through them and integrate them, and just to come out, a better person, a more understand. So say you want to come and learn about compassion. Well, you're going to set it up where that's going to be your theme, learning about compassion. I mean, this is what I think. And like for me, I had to come here and learn about having a voice. When I was young, I would never say anything. I was always in the shadows. I was so afraid. And I chose the parents, I think, in the situations and the people around me to finally find this voice. And now I just won't shut up. So, but anyway, so that's like one of my things. And I think I know I set it all up. And so that's what I think karma is. It's almost like saying, not because you're bad or good or right or wrong. It's not about that. What did I come here to learn? And I'm working through it, And I feel like, to me, that book, Kevin Todeschi, called Family Karma, is such a good book in explaining that concept or misconcept of karma.
Misconcept more like, that does feel more right, because there's so many different understandings of karma in one sense, because I mean, maybe, when you cross back over, you're able to have a different truth on karma. But that particular truth there that you just said, that does fit with me as well, actually. That, the karma is because of the setup that you chose to have. Whatever you might be suffering from in this incarnation right now, whether you're, highly sensitive or, whatever the family dynamic says, family, whatever it may be, because family is where you do learn the most, isn't it? More than friends. Yeah.
And
there's things set up, and there's the reasons why you are like you are. Yeah. Okay.
And then I guess I was just thinking as you were talking, on the other end of that, what it is like sort of that saying, what you put out is what you get back. It's a match. So you're a great person. Most likely you're going to have good interactions or the same type of interactions, And if you're a negative person, and that's where you turn in, like with Bashar, he teaches about probable realities all existing at the same time. So it's like your radio station. So it's Jen's Life on channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5. And it's like you've got all these Jen's lives. They can be, some are awesome, some suck, right? It's like, well, what are you tuned into? You know what I mean? Are you tuned into Jen's life is great, or are you tuned into Jen's life sucks? And I do feel like with all that we do, giving a reading can help someone see where they have been tuning into the negative side, and actually bringing about that probable reality. And if they tune themselves to a higher probable reality, their life is different. They could have the same people in their life, they live in the same place, but their experiences are completely different. And the people they're dealing with are different, because really it's all about you, and everyone else is a player on the stage, and the stage of and the play of your life. So you're the star, everyone else is a player, and it's about the script. Okay, it's all about the script. So if you're reading from a really awesome script, Jen's awesome life script, well, then all the players will play into that. And if you're reading from the worst life Jen could possibly have, well, then that's what you're going to get. So I guess it's more about how you're tuned in, and that has so much to do with your vehicle. How is it? Is it healthy? Your thoughts, your frame of mind, your perspective. And that's what I feel like psychics and mediums and intuitives and readings can give you a real good handle on where are you now. And that's what you were saying. The power is now. Eckhart Tolle, all these great, all these great teachers. And who do I really love? Alan Watts. I really loved Alan Watts. And and the Jesuit priest Anthony de Mello. Have you ever heard of Anthony de Mello?
No.
He's dead now, but he's a Jesuit priest,
Okay.
and he has there's a in New York. I think it's in Manhattan. There's a center. But if anybody listening to this wants to pick up his book I think it's called Awakening, and said with it's all humor. It's just freaking great, and it's all about the power of now. So really, when I give a reading, it's about the power of now. Where is your power? Do you have any? Are you using it? And so that you're right. That is the basis of everything is right now, and we change not just our future with what we do now, we change our past. Because if we jump into a different parallel reality where Jen's script of her life is so much better, well, then my past is different as well. It's hard to kind of embrace with your brain.
Do you think when clients come to see you then, do they talk much about, do you like to get to know them a little bit, about what they're going through right now and where they're at, or where they would like to be?
It definitely, I do ask questions.
Okay.
When we have a reading, we start out, and they've got their charts, which I give them.
Yes.
And we start out looking at the numerology piece, so we get an idea of what the energy is, what the energy was last year, or the past couple of years. And I say to everyone who comes to me, I say, look, you're here sitting in front of me for a reason. There's either a change you want to make, there's a different path you want to take, or you're upset about something. There's some reason why you're here. So we talk about the main themes and what they really want to find out.
Okay, now that's very interesting, because this is my truth. What I think happens in a psychic reading as well is that when you do let the psychic know a bit about you and where you might want to go, what's your problems now, what the issues maybe are now, I think what that does is that puts you then on a probable reality of where you're going to end up. I think by you manifesting that time, that energy in front of a medium or in front of someone like yourself, you're then sending out the energy of this is where I want my destiny to go. You're pre-programming yourself that that's where it's going to go, potentially the good bits maybe. So I'm not against actually talking to the medium or the numerologist or the psychic before having a reading. I'm just I think you dictate to the energy, to the cards of where this, because you're already really putting it in place. This is where you are now, and anything that comes out the reading is where you're going to be, because that's where the energy is right now. You can change that, of course.
Yes, and then a lot of times when we're so that's definitely true. I completely believe that, and that's been proven to me many times. And what the one thing I do like about doing the cards is that that's the piece that comes in where we're not verbally talking about anything, and that's the piece that comes in that says, it might contradict us. You know what I mean? Or we're asking a certain question and the cards are giving an answer to another question. So it's interesting because when you're doing the cards, I'm not in control when I'm doing the cards at all. You know what I mean? It's just happening, and so what you get. And so that is kind of interesting in a way because it cuts through the conversation.
You know what was really, I've been I've channeled one book and it's just going through the editing stage now, right? And I was channeling another one and I put it on a hold because I just thought, well, I'm not, I just didn't have the time to keep carrying on right now. I felt that the energy wasn't there to finish it off, and I just wanted to get the first book out first, right? But in that second book, it was much more advanced. And one of the things that came through as well is that we have the ability to tune in, to imagine, create a reality in our head that we would really love to see. That reality is already out there somewhere anyway, right? And by then envisaging that reality, you draw yourself to it. Now, that's kind of like what you just said there. That's what came out in my channeling a year ago, maybe it was, when I was just doing this, working on the second book, and you just reminded me what I said, and I'm kind of reminding myself here, that's what I need to do as well.
Yes, and to me, that's how the universe works. That's what I've learned through all the books I've read, all the people I've been listening to. That's it right there in a nutshell, is that, and Bashar says this all the time, if you can think it, bam, it's a probable reality.
And what's going on most times is that you're thinking it, and then a shitty reality comes along where you're like, I can't do that, and that's never going to work. All this negative crap, and that's why you ruin it. You have to,
Yeah.
like any garden, weed out those negative thoughts when they do come, weed them
Yeah.
out, and just see the pure positive thoughts. A bit kid-like in a sense, where it's more about the imagination.
Exactly. And then another part of it is believability. If you can believe it, if you really think, yeah, this can happen for me, it will happen, positive and negative. And so it's your believability factor. And what I like is an exercise that you can do where you can have an idea, okay, I want to move to the States. And then you start to write down, how long do I think this is going to take? 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. And then you kind of get a handle on, okay, what do I really believe about this, without being all fluffy and positive. And then you work with that. And so I think that, and what Bashar does say is, he says, it's not seeing is believing, it's believing is seeing. So it's all about the believability of your goals. And like when you're in an 8-year or say a 5-year, when you're talking about business, when you're in an 8-year, it's all about business, it's all about your career, it's all about your sense of personal power and what you can accomplish, your self-confidence. So if you're in an 8-year and you have a big dream for a business, or you want to expand your business, if it is not believable in an 8-year or based in reality, according to your own beliefs, you will be wasting that 8-year energy. It will not happen. So I'm just equating this numerology a little bit. But basically, yeah, we do have to be in that sense. We do have to pay attention to how we, at the moment, believe this can really happen. Is it pie in the sky? And if it is pie in the sky for us, then we got to really examine it. That's what I think. And I think a lot of people get tripped up on that. They're like, oh, you can create your own reality. Just think about what you want. And yeah, it can happen, but I do believe, and like what you're saying, you're diving deep into sort of the lower Kevin, and you're weeding out what lower belief systems that you're just like, well, frig that, that's not useful for me, or I don't really, it doesn't need to be anything, because I totally don't believe that. And I believe that with you working on that and cleaning up that space, your believability that I can do it goes up a notch.
It does, but it's had to get me to a point where I really want to do that. You have to want to take self-responsibility and say to yourself, well, look, I've given everything else a go, and why not just give this road a go? Why not just look at it from a completely different perspective?
That's right. And that's the whole thing too, is taking full responsibility for where you are, how far you've come, positive and negative, where you are right now, taking full responsibility. And that's why I like what David Icke says about how we really have to take responsibility for everything, the way the world is right now. And the only way to break out of it and to break out of the matrix is to bring ourselves higher and to know how powerful we are. And then that belief has to change as well. It's like, if we don't think we're powerful, well, we need to really look into that. And we need to really turn that around, because that's bullshit. We are so powerful.
Well, we are. To be here, I think we were pretty special. I think we were the powerful ones. I think when we talk about we've got these spirit guides and councils around us, I think they look at us as being the powerful one because they didn't want to come here. We did. That's the difference. We were the powerful ones, not them. They're just helping us out. We were the ones that really took the risk.
Yeah. We're in the shit right now. You know what I mean? They're like, whatever, but we're dealing with this. But then in another way, I think, okay, like if I'm eating something really yummy, or, say, you're having sex or whatever, you're like, yeah. It's like, this is something that we get to experience where, people on another level, or souls on another level, they might even be able to tap into that, but they are not feeling it like we're feeling it, and that's to me. So I'm starting to embrace that more, even just driving down the road and looking at the beauty and I don't know, at just all my different feelings and all my different experiences. I guess I'm looking at it sometimes with like new eyes, like and sometimes I even forget who I am, Jen, this personality. And I love it when I can step out of who I am and experience life as in awe, like,
absolutely.
Wow.
And getting a reading with yourself as well, getting a numerology reading as well, again, it's just another way to have a happier, more loving present moment, isn't it?
It is. It's definitely I think for everyone that I give a reading to, of course, it helps if they're more open, right?
Right.
To taking responsibility for where they are. When I deal with people like that, on the most part I do, when they get a reading, they really get a handle on, okay, I'm right here, right now. What can I do to achieve my goals and to make my life how I really want it to be? You know what I mean? And that, to me, that's priceless. And if you do that every 3 months, every 6 months, once a year, whatever it is, it's a perfect set point to get a handle on where you are. It's like anything. What you know, it's really important to know what you don't know, or what you don't know consciously. It's really important to know that, just like with you going deep, because once you know, you can do something about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's what these tools help us. That's what these tools help us do. Become aware of exactly where we are. What are we doing? Are we self-sabotaging right now? Or are we on the right path and we need to keep going, you know?
Yeah, that's so true. So look, I know we're almost at the end of the interview here as well. I just wanted to talk about master numbers as well, because we all, there are those things as master numbers, and we all have master numbers, and what are they if we do?
Well, not everybody does, but in your chart, or in your chart, there's so many different aspects that we can look at that almost everybody's got a master number somewhere. But it is rare to have a master number in the heavy hitters, like your life path number, which gives us an overall view of why you came here and what you're here to accomplish, or your soul number is your soul's urge. What do you really want out of this lifetime? Or your career number, or your birthday number. And I have to say, you are a 22, right? You were born on the 22nd.
I think I do have a few master numbers. I'm 11 and 22,
Yeah.
aren't I?
Yeah. Yes. Remember when I was doing your chart, I was like getting excited, and I don't even think we talked about it. But you were when's your birthday?
So July the 22nd, 78. Yes.
Okay, so there was an 11 that came up, I think, in your name.
Yes.
But there's a 22. You were born on the 22nd. Now, a birthday number is a big part of who we are in this lifetime. And what it is a toolbox. Okay, your birthday number is a toolbox of all the tools you need to really make this life how you want it to be. It's like, okay, they give you this little toolbox called your birthday. Go head out, live this life, and you can use everything in this toolbox to help you. So guess what yours is? 22 is the master builder. You're here to build something to serve others. How perfect is that? Doesn't that fit right into what's happening now in your life?
I think it does. You know that. I think it's took me to get to 37 to get to that point, though. I don't think I could have done it before. Do you know that?
Yeah. And really, when you have a master number in your chart,
38,
it doesn't
sorry,
mean
I'm 38, sorry. I'm not 37, 38. Sorry.
So yeah, born in 1978, right?
Yeah.
All right, so when you have a master number anywhere in your chart, it just means that you have the potential to live up to that. You don't have to. 22 adds up to 4. So 4 is a great number. So it's like taking that qualities of that 4 and like quadrupling it. I mean, just make like off the charts. So like Oprah has a career number, I believe, of a 22-4. So she's somebody who had built a strong foundation to serve others. So that's your potential, Kevin. In your toolbox, you have the foundation you have the ability to not just be somebody who builds a strong business. You're somebody to build a strong business that serves others, that has more of a worldwide sort of
Isn't that
effect.
interesting? Yeah, maybe it's what. Oh God, sorry, just take that out. That's interesting. Maybe this is all just at the beginning stages then for me. I always think that my life's done now, and I used to think that way. I don't think that way anymore now. I think the best is yet to come. Do you know that really the best is yet to come? And
It's
something.
so true.
And I hope that can be an inspiration to other people when they think they've got to a certain point and they know it's all just downhill from there. That's bullshit. That's absolute rubbish. The best is yet to come, and I think I've just started that journey. I thought I just started that journey. I would have said that to myself years ago, but I don't think that was the case. I think I've just started it now.
Yeah, and I totally believe that. And you have in astrology, and in numerology, every 28 years is called your Saturn return. And that's when the planet of Saturn comes back into orbit for you. And what happens is that that's when you are really learning the hard lessons, and it's all about completely changing and shifting your perspective and giving you those hard lessons. So at 28, so still you have a little bit of time, but there was, I don't know if you've noticed, but around the age of 27, 28, 29, for me there was a huge shift.
Massive.
And in numerology, we can look at those shifts, and in each time phase of your life, from age this to this, we can look numerology wise and see where the theme is. So I'd love
to come again, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'd like to do, maybe another time we can definitely hook up and see about these shifts and where your focus is.
Wow.
So that would be really, really fun. And anyway, so in numerology, like for me, I think I'm in the 5, and the 5 is all about putting yourself out there, shamelessly promoting yourself, putting yourself on a stage. And the 5 is the 5th chakra, which is your throat chakra. Speak up. It's like I feel like I'm meant to be, and here I'm on your show, and and I feel like I'm, more and more I'm putting myself out there. So anyway, so there's different stages in lives that we can look at in numerology and in astrology to see what's the energy. What is the energy? What is the energy?
I would love you. I would love to be able to work with you on my network. I really would. So I will be reapproaching you for that to get you.
I would be honored.
I'm sure there's a reason we've crossed, not just for this interview. Maybe this interview will be an interview that we use to promote you on our network, most definitely. That would be a beautiful thing. So, and I mentioned that off air as well, but I'm stating it now because I want it to happen. So, yeah. So we've been putting your website on the screen. You know, your website is
my name, which is jenyoung888.com.
That's right.
And with one N, jenyoung888.com. And there's a numerology piece on that where it gives you some information. And you can figure out on my website, on the numerology tab, what year you're in. You can do it yourself, and that's really fun. And you can do it for anyone in your family. So I recommend people who do have a family to find out what year their partners are in, what year their kids are in. So that way you just have that little added insight where you can parent in a better way. I call it parenting by the numbers, where we really find out, your child and their personality, and perhaps even like I do a lot of readings for people whose kids are going off to college, and we sit down with the college age person and we talk about their career number. We talk about different aspects of their personality, and it's just really helpful, especially if they're leaving home or they have to decide on a major. So there's so much that we can do with this. But yeah, and I do have Facebook pages, Kev. If anybody goes on my website, they can find it. But I have 2 of them that I really love. One is called facebook.com/Jen Young Intuitive. So there's massive amounts of videos on there, books, information on raising your intuition. And then another one is facebook.com/spiritual eating. And that one is all about eating and drinking green juice and how to really eat to raise your level of awareness, intuition, and psychic abilities.
Excellent. Okay, well,
Yeah.
your website's been coming up on the screen all throughout this interview, but just before you go, I've really enjoyed having you on, and I know we've only sort of touched the surface of your work a little bit, but what would you say is a really important message to the audience as well?
Well, the most important message is to discover what's going on in your now. And when you come see me, or even go to any other intuitive or psychic or medium or card reader, it's like, okay, let's see where you've got that momentum going, okay? Is it going in the direction you want with relationships, or is it not? Is it going in the direction that is going to be best for you for health and eating, or is it not? So it's these areas of life that are most important for people that we discover where you are you on the right path or not? And if not, what are the best ways to get you on the right path? And I love connecting people with different people. So like if you have a reading, in my area, I will connect you with local people that can help you. Or even if we do remote, I do a lot of Skype readings to UK, to Bermuda, all over the country. And it's like, once people have an idea in their head of what they want to do, who they want to contact, you know how the universe is. What you focus on grows. You get it. You draw it to you. So if you want to find an acupuncturist that's just right for you, be open to it. Pay attention. You're going to notice. It's like, okay, so I want a new Mini Cooper, right? Okay, it's on my vision board, right? So I don't have one. Guess what I see all day long on the road? It's like Mini Coopers, Mini Coopers, Mini Coopers. And believe me, you can do little experiments on your way to work. Think, okay, I want one of my coworkers to have, okay, not donuts. Think of something else that's healthy or whatever. Just like, oh yeah, there's going to be a cup of coffee there at work for me or whatever. And just start to really practice with your ability to create your own reality in small ways. I'm telling you, these little small ways every single day, you build, you will build your awareness of your power.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Well, I've had an awesome time with you. I really, really have. Just thank you so much for coming on. So Jen Young, it's a pleasure to have you on, and I can't wait to get you back next time.
Thanks, Kevin. Mwah. See you soon.
Well, we've come to an end on today's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests on the show via themoreshow.com, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.